speaker on this panel is Patricia Leatham. Patricia, I'm very pleased to that she's joining us today, is a former support teacher and a mother of one who's experienced direct violation of her own economic, social and cultural rights. Patricia and her son spent nearly 2 years living homeless in temporary accommodation in London. She is keen to raise awareness of these issues and help others in similar situations. And I'm really pleased and privileged that Patricia is able to share her experiences with us today.
I think something that people probably don't realise is that when you're homeless, it affects pretty much every area of your life. So, for example, my schooling was affected, our health was affected. He had gone through a process where he developed a condition called seborrheic dermatitis, where the skin started getting quite red. But because our GP took us off the register because we were outside the catchment area, we had to start again. I had to re-register with another doctor. I then started developing problems with my back because we were in a one-bedroom accommodation. At one point, we were sharing a house with 14 people, small room, one bathroom, one toilet, one kitchen. And my bedding was actually sleeping on the floor, then sleeping on a sofa chair. So I then ended up having damaged discs to my back, which I still have today. So it affects several areas. It impacts families where you're split from, I had to send my son to spend some time with his godparents because, you know, the trauma of the whole experience just was beginning to traumatize him. So it affects every area. From work, you haven't got a safe place for your mails to come to because you're in unsafe circumstances. So it affects every area, really.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And I know you've told me things are much better for you now, but you feel the problem still exists and the system hasn't changed. Do you want to speak a little bit more to that?
From 2 years ago, I don't think it has changed pretty much because I've still see stories. For example, I saw a recent story about a man in Enfield who lost his home. He became disabled. He was camped outside Enfield Council, actually trying to appeal to get housing. You see still cases. I know families who are still homeless. I know one family that's in a one-bedroom, and there are 5 of them in that one bedroom, 3 children. And this is within the past 2-3 weeks. So it hasn't changed from what we went through 2 years ago. It's pretty much still the same, to be honest, if not worse, I think, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And then finally, Patricia, you have a room full of people in front of you. What would you like them to hear, including any decision makers in the room?
I try not to think that the people that are in charge are not evil. I try to think that they do care. I'm hoping that they do care. But I think there needs to be more sort of a joined up kind of approach, I think. Because, for example, the experience that I went through with my son, had it not been me reaching out to charities, things like the Childhood Trust, which is a wonderful charity that helps, particularly where there are children. So they do help, providing bedding, furniture, and if there's sort of spaces where children, like nurseries and things, that they help where their children are present. But I think there needs to be more a connection probably between the councils and the charities, I think. I don't think there's enough care and compassion about housing. I don't think they realize that you do feel socially excluded, really. You're not part of the economic benefits that are taking place around us. And I think there should be more attention to that. And I think that the stereotype of what homelessness and temporary accommodation is people you see on the streets, but all the people I came across were all families like myself. And I think there needs to be more care and consider that these are children that are being affected by this and care about the generation that's coming up behind us. And I don't think that there's enough care shown for what happens in our city, to be honest. And I hope that if there's anybody in the room who does have some control and power, that maybe start reaching out a bit more and doing concrete things rather than just maybe thinking about it. Just do more to help, to be honest. And there's hope, because we've come to the other side, so there's hope.
Thank you so much. Is there anything else you wanted to add, Patricia?
Things haven't changed much from what I can see, and as I said, I've heard more stories about things more recently, and I think I really would like this to end. I would like to see an end to a country in which we live in, which, to me, it's not a poor country. We're quite wealthy, and I don't think it's fair I became homeless not through a fault of my own. My mother died, and they repossessed the property. That's it. The council, and my parents worked in the borough. I worked in the borough. My son schooled in the borough. So it can happen to anybody. But I really would like to see more people who are in charge to really care more and make a difference. At Christmas, we see a difference. People are taken off the streets at Christmas. So why is it only just at Christmas? Are we doing it because we just want to feel better, or are we trying to get these people off the streets and in, homes of safety permanently? That's what I think.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
Patricia.
Thank you very much.